today we are going to be digging into everything that we know about Mario and Luigi Brothership. I always want to say Mario.
You have come up with your own fake name for this game.
I know, and it's like making me like jumbled up. I always want to say Mario and Luigi Bromance,
That's
which
not what it's called.
think is truly like a better name for this game,
Well,
but I guess Nintendo,
said nasty Nate Bildorf a
Nintendo
message.
didn't like
it's not
my
too late.
suggestion.
Reprint everything.
Reprint everything.
Yes.
1 week before launch, reprint it all. Bromance.
Please vote in my petition.
Yeah. Oh, Operation Bromance?
There we go.
Let's go,
Now
guys.
we're talking.
Let's
Yes.
go, guys. But yes, we are very excited about this game. We are catching up a little bit on this game ourselves. There's been many previews
Yes.
and overview trailers that we're just digging into, just getting hyped for this great game that's coming out in a week.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, unless you are like truly locked in on a game and following every little tweet and every little update and every preview, it's hard to know exactly like what's been put out there. So we have done that work for you. We have compiled everything notable about this game so far, and we're going to take you through that, and then we're going to be asking ourselves some tough questions.
We have big questions
just
about
to see how we're
this.
feeling about this because we're 1 week out.
Yeah.
Literally 1 week.
Literally. We have some big questions about like where this fits into the overall RPG style series for Mario and Luigi. And it's going to be a good discussion. I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
0 weeks away because it's happening literally today is Halloween. So happy Halloween.
Everyone. I'm very festive. You're not.
Well, you had a snide comment for me about that, but late last week we had our Halloween meetup with
forgot to wear this
with our
during
One
the
Up Club and
meetup.
Superstars, and you were like, I don't care. Halloween
I
sucks.
do. I didn't say that.
Who cares? Whatever.
I
so
totally forgot
what's the
about
deal?
my once a year where I get to wear this great sweatshirt. And yeah, once a year. The
All right.
blue sweatshirt gets pulled out of the closet. We also have our little blue mirror
Sure.
on the set that we got from the Kyoto Nintendo store. It's right there. It's so cute, hiding its little face.
You can put our very cute Halloween photo here.
Insert photo.
There it
right
is.
Here.
Don't forget when you're editing this. it's just
this is a note for
blank.
future editor Krysta.
Future
Don't
Krysta.
forget.
Yes,
Don't
there we
forget.
go.
Yes.
So happy Halloween. Please go get some candy. Enjoy carving some pumpkins. We, this week, have really been grappling with the ongoing... This is the gesture you make when you're grappling with something.
I was like, what is that gesture?
We have been grappling with the ongoing rumors about a potential Switch 2 reveal.
Oh, boy.
As we record this now, it is Tuesday morning.
Yes.
A reveal has not happened.
It's 10:41 a.m. on Tuesday,
We
October
have passed
29th.
the rumored October 29th date. The countdown clock has come and gone.
Yeah.
They have reset it. It has been reset for a new date, yes.
This countdown clock is hilarious.
No.
It's really funny.
Again, this has been going on for a long time. People wondering, is this now? Is it now? Is it the last chance for this year? We put out a video just, giving our perspective of people who worked at Nintendo, of how would Nintendo evaluate whether an announcement right now would be good or bad, or how would that work?
How do they choose like an optimal date? We actually did that. That was part of our job when we were working at Nintendo, with like, what is the best date strategically to make announcements, whether it's for a new console or even for a new game or something like that. Like that was work we were doing. So we might have some background and experience in this that we shared in this video. I'm sure there's many people that are like, we don't care. We want to believe in the hype and the rumors, and so that's fine too. No, anything is possible.
Yes.
So
you can check that video out. It's on our YouTube channel now. Who knows? I mean, again, we're not ruling out. I made many disclaimers in that video. This could still happen at any moment. This is a company that lives to surprise people.
Yes.
So that would be surprising, and definitely surprising for us based on these points that we laid out. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe the countdown is right.
Everyone should follow and set their life clock to this countdown clock.
The 35th countdown that's reset, that will be the one that's actually right. I was right.
That was the one.
I was right all along.
Well.
You do that, like the Twitter apology forum. It's like, I'd like to apologize to Switch 2 countdown clock guy. I was not familiar with your game.
I was not familiar with,
and so on.
Yes, exactly. My heartfelt apology to the Switch 2 countdown clock.
Yes. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Bromance.
By the time we get through this episode, you're going to have to be able to say that.
I'm not gonna.
Name right.
Change the name.
I like the name. I happen to like the name.
It
bromance.
It's very cute. The name is very cute, and it does actually have a gameplay.
A bromance typically does not apply to people who are actually brothers.
I think you're right.
I think that's what
I'm an only
it is.
child.
As a bro myself.
But you don't have a brother.
There's one bro. I'm a bro. I'm a bro.
Huh?
I'm a guy. I'm a bro.
Oh, you're a bro.
Bro.
Am I a sis?
Bro, bruh, and Brett. I am all of those things.
Bruh.
Yes.
Bruh.
I can say.
You're right, though. I'm an only child, so I don't have this context about a brother in a ship.
You don't.
Or a man's.
Or being an Italian plumber. I have that too. Spaghetti! So let's go through everything that we know about this game before we can ask ourselves the hard questions.
Yes.
So kind of the basic story of this game, Mario and Luigi travel amongst a chain of islands. Some people call it an archipelago. Oh. How do you say that? How do you actually say that word?
Archipelago?
Archipelago, that's right? It's not archipelago,
ESL.
is it?
I'm ESL, so you tell me.
I don't know either.
You're ES.
We're gonna. It's a chain of islands. It's a chain of islands.
Chain of islands.
That's what we're calling it. It's called Concordia. That has been cut off from its source of power, and they are trying to restore it. So basically, the idea is this was once a single continent,
and it got broken
that
apart.
had this kind of mystical tree in the middle. Something happened to the tree, like this tree that I was pointing out to the right.
Right before the episode, you were like, "Something's wrong with our tree. Maybe we need to."
I think something's growing on this.
We need to maybe have some sort of a
We may need to go on our own magical adventure to restore the magical tree.
Okay,
yes.
I'd be okay with that.
But basically, you're trying to reunite all of these chunks of this once had been a single continent.
Right.
And there is this kind of overall theme of electricity.
Yes. It's Concordia, like cord.
I think there's just so many different puns that you can do
a lot of puns
around
with
the
electricity.
idea of electricity and things that are associated with electricity. So everybody's probably noticed all the characters and NPCs look like electrical plugs.
Or like the outlet. Their faces are like the little outlet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
AKA a plug.
Well, it's
now are they
what you plug into?
Are they going to represent all the different there's a lot of different plugs around the world.
That's true. Like a Chinese or
if
like
you travel
European
somewhere else,
plug.
you're going through some bag of like adapters. Like which one do I need? I think that would be cool if they had different characters that were representing those different
like cultures,
international
ethnicities, but through the plugs.
Electricities.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think that'd be cool.
I think that'd be really cute.
Let's
keep an eye out for that.
So Mario and Luigi will travel between these islands. They have something that's called Ship Shape Island, which is both a ship and an island. So it's like it's like a traveling island.
See, that was a really interesting thing that I realized, that the ship is actually like a cruise ship. It's like a
big.
Floating city. Yeah. And you can do a lot of stuff on your ship. Like it has like a shop, it has like all these other things.
Right.
It's not just like get on the tiny little boat like in Wind Waker and that's it. You know what I mean? Which is kind of neat, actually.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on Ship-Shape Island, you have a sapling of the World Tree, which is this big tree that you're trying to restore. So you kind of have that power with you as you try to reunite all of these islands.
Yeah.
So there's obviously Mario and Luigi. They have pointed out a couple of the new and original somewhat important characters that's going to be with you along the way. There's one called Connie, who is a, quote, botanist.
Yes, I get it now, because they're trying to restore this tree.
Right.
I guess they need her.
Connie's probably in charge of the tree.
She has some sort of relation to how to get this tree healthy again. Maybe we need to hire her for our tree. I don't know. But she has a cute little like watering can. So basically, it's like a play on the word botanist, obviously.
Yes.
But very cute.
And then there's another sort of flying pig creature known as Snoutlet.
I like Snoutlet.
I don't know exactly what Snoutlet's doing in this game, but it sure is cute.
Snoutlet is very cute.
Snoutlet's very cute.
It's like a bee and a pig mashed up, because it has little wings.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like zipping around.
Sure.
Very cute. I like it.
On the baddies side of things, Zocket has been indicated as one of the key kind of local enemies of this Concordia location that you're in. Zocket has lackeys that are, as a group, known as the Extension Corps, which is...
This is cute.
How far can we take this?
This is like your dad's, like, GarageBand. You know,
they
play
they're like electricians.
They're like
by day,
but they play like Journey covers by night, and they play like the local.
We're in the local electricians union.
They're playing like the Gilroy Garlic Festival. You know, like one of those. That is what that is.
Okay.
And I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm like super into it. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Playing a county fair, depending on who you are, could either be like the most proud day of your career or like the lowest point of your career. Like
exactly.
I used to play Madison Square Garden. Now I'm playing
the Gilroy Garlic Festival.
My gosh, what's happening? Or it's like, oh my gosh,
I've made it.
Look at me.
Look at me.
I'm a local hero now.
Exactly.
Yes.
It could be it could go either way.
All the garlic I can handle.
Yum. Love it. Love it.
But it's not just that. Bowser is also in
Bowser's in the mist.
Yes.
Doing his Bowsery things.
As he must. Bowser
he's just there to like you know, mess things up.
Right.
You know, just in his Bowser way.
Were you a little surprised that they just up front just revealed that, like, oh yeah, Bowser's there too?
Sounds like he's very probably you meet him pretty early on. I guess. Maybe there's another sort of surprise villain at the end.
Oh.
There's always like a cute little twist, you know, like you don't expect such and such to
cute?
Be involved. Well, not in the original Mario Luigi. That wasn't cute because that boss fight took
annoying.
like 3 days. Like not an exaggeration, literally 3 days. But yeah, it's fun to see the the cast of characters that you kind of come to expect, and also some new characters. Princess Peach is also in this game as well. So you do get like the Mushroom Kingdom greatest hits.
Menagerie.
Yeah, exactly. Plus this new place with these new characters that they introduced.
We didn't see a Lakitu, did we? I don't think we did.
We saw a Kamek.
That ain't Lakitu.
It's also flying around on something.
Nope.
All right.
So one of the big new things here is just the way that the areas of the map are laid out and the way that you find them. So you are on Ship-Shape Island, and you are actually exploring the ocean and discovering new islands.
Yeah.
Each of those islands is kind of like, an environment of, again, comparing to Superstar Stargate, it was like one big map, and they were very distinct. Like, all right, now you're in the desert, now you're in the woods.
Right.
And you could just go freely. On this one, like, you do need to use the ship to get around.
Yeah.
But it's a very distinct, like, all right, this is this island. So we've seen there's like a jungle island, a desert island, an ice island.
Yeah.
But this mechanic of being on Ship-Shape Island, you have to actually use a spyglass to, like, physically move it around and identify the island before you can go there.
Yes.
One of the previews that we checked out compared it kind of as a cross between Wind Waker and Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
Which I got pretty hyped for.
Yes. The idea of this type of exploration is a little bit we definitely were exploring in previous Mario and Luigi games, but I don't think to this scale. And that's really cool. And I like the idea. It's a cool mechanic because you basically have these like ocean currents that your ship is able to get on. So you pick like a current, and it just basically takes you in a circle. And as you're sailing around, you can do all your other little things on your ship/island.
You don't really need to like steer.
You don't need to like manage the ship's direction, right?
So you can get it going, and then
then like once you find like an island you want to explore, you can like launch yourself to that location. But your ship is just like circling on this current.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting mechanic because it gives you the freedom to explore, but it also lets you like kind of multitask and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
On your ship.
Yeah, Ship-Shape Island looks like really big. Like we were watching one, I was like, where are they right now? And you're like, they're on the ship.
You're like, oh. You really had a hard time grasping that.
It was so big.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the sense of perspective.
You're like on a Disney cruise.
Right. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So there's like a lot of, you can go do your laundry. There's like a lot of stuff.
There's adults only
that you can do.
Bar.
Yes.
There's 3 shows a night.
Wow.
There's the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Great.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for anything that has that kind of like, just explore. As you traverse a place, especially when it's on a boat. Like for some reason, that's just especially exciting to me.
It's totally exciting.
So I think that's great. I did see in one of the previews like there was like a little tracker that I think indicated the number of islands. I don't know if that's in the whole game or in an area that you're in.
Oh, like have you found them all kind of thing?
And it was like, did you get this one? Did you get that one? It looked like kind of a lot. I don't think they've said how many islands there are.
And there might be different size islands, obviously, right?
That's my big hope is like, yes, you have the main islands, like, all right, this is the jungle island, this is a big story, quest-driven thing. But I would love it if there were smaller islands where it's like,
maybe there's like a cool little treasure.
There's some treasure,
on there,
or there's like some side story led you here, and there's something that's going to happen.
Maybe a character you meet.
That is the cherry on top to this kind of stuff.
I kind of feel like they gotta have that. I would be disappointed.
That
would
be super fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing. That's why I have Wind Waker honestly so high in my personal Zelda rankings.
Because of that idea that you can like meander around and like just poke around and discover big and small things. I like the idea of discovering big and small things. You know, because it feels like it gives you a more of a reason to do the exploring. So I really do hope they have that as well. It kind of feels like it does though. So that's good.
So as you complete the levels and the islands, they'll kind of get repopulated by the local Concordia NPCs. It sounds like some of them will kind of move. If you find them on one island, they might move to the other because you're kind of restoring the bonds between them. So
it's a very wholesome story.
They have a little bit more kind of freedom of movement, or some of them can actually kind of set up shop on Shipshape Island, and they'll kind of be there. So this idea of like you're also sort of repopulating the island along the way too, that should be cool as you go on and on.
Connecting all the citizens of Concordia, because it seems like splitting it up was a physical thing that happened to their land, but also like something that happened to the people living there.
Right.
And it seems like there's like lots of different like inhabitants that you're meeting and interacting with. It just feels really rich, which is kind of nice. Like you saw lots of different like looking characters, but also just you can tell that they have like different storylines as well.
Yeah, and one of the big things that it noted was as more people or more NPCs show up, this will open up side quests.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Like as you go along the way, more of these side quests will open up, and you'll have more to do.
I like that.
Bros moves are back.
We've
seen a couple. We've seen a UFO, which is kind of the equivalent of the spin move that you had in the original game to help you cross a long gap.
I do like the animation for these a lot. These animations with the bro moves and with their attacks have so much personality. But the UFO one is really cute because they look like they're ballroom dancing.
Yes.
And they're like basically doing like getting ready to like tango, and then they do the little spin and they actually become, like a UFO shape. Which is very, very cute. I love the detail with all the animation that they've done.
There was we don't really talk about it here, but like the game does have this brand new look that's really remarkable and
really
very
distinctive.
Expressive. And you were talking about just like the color selection. Like what were you getting at with that?
It's like super saturated colors. Like everything looks like it's very like rich tones, almost like jewel toned colors, and it also has some kind of like a painterly effect to it, like not like a watercolor, but some kind of sort of hand-painted look to it, which I really, really like. I remember when we first saw the reveal in the Nintendo Direct, like the first thing that stood out was just the different art style and obviously the humor and stuff, which is very prevalent in these Mario and Luigi games. But seeing more trailers and more gameplay, everything just looks amazing. Like the art style and just the general look of the game is really striking. So
this is the year that playing a cartoon became possible. Between Thank Goodness You're Here, this, and there's been a couple other games that have fit that bill. It's been amazing.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, so the game just looks incredible.
It does.
Other bros moves that we've seen, you can get into a ball and kind of roll around.
Bounce around, roll around.
And then they also, Mario and Luigi, Mario can throw a fireball, Luigi can throw an ice ball.
Yeah, they're like fire and ice.
Yes.
Like one is fire, one is ice.
Right,
yeah.
right. One thing that one of the previews noted that I think you need to play it to really understand how this works. They were saying that you no longer need to independently control Luigi from Mario. So like in the older games, remember if you're like jumping up something, you have to go A, B, to like jump between them.
It's a little finger gymnastics.
It sounds like Luigi sort of more follows Mario along, or I'm assuming you can swap the placement, vice versa.
And the person in the back just follows the person in the front.
Right. So I don't know. How do you feel about that actually?
I kind of want to play it to really...
I didn't mind that part of the older games.
I was going to say, I kind of liked it too.
Yeah.
Like, I know it was a little bit of touching your head and rubbing your stomach a little bit sometimes with these games. Like, you really have to remember the button inputs and like switching the brothers back and forth.
Yeah.
But that was what kind of made that gameplay fun and feel like different than a platformer, than a regular Mario platformer. So hopefully that we didn't lose that. I see what they're doing here. They're trying to make it like a little bit easier for you to traverse the overworld. And then like obviously getting into battle, you're doing a lot of that like partnering up and everybody has independent attacks. So maybe that they're just trying to simplify the overworld a little bit. But yeah, I like to play it a little. I play it and before I form a final opinion on this.
Yeah. There's another thing that was talked about is Luigi Logic.
Yeah.
Which again, we have not played every one of these games, so this could have potentially been in one of the more recent
I don't remember
Mario Luigi
this.
games. But
yeah.
this is something that I don't feel like I have a completely great grasp on exactly like what it is, but it's these kind of contextual options where you kind of trigger Luigi to help you complete a puzzle.
Yeah.
Or there's some other sort of non-battle actions that he can do that'll help
he
you.
auto collects things.
Right, he'll pick stuff up along the way without you having to run over there.
He'll like auto destroy like a row of boxes, for example.
Right.
It's almost like Luigi's your little like Pikmin. Plus, he's
Minion.
also a hint coin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting. I guess again, take away some of the maybe like more tedious things that you're doing over and over again or something like that. I wonder what this is.
I think some of the previews may have been slightly confused by this as well, because in one of them I saw them lumping some of the Bros moves under Luigi Logic.
And I think that's different.
And I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's right either.
So a bit interesting that maybe some of the media who actually played this game were having trouble completely differentiating.
Yeah.
Because it's totally true. Like you can play a game for 2 hours and not have everything down cold. You can still be a bit iffy on some things.
Yeah, and it is it's a little bit jumbled up, all of the different like move sets and mechanics. Each independent character, Mario and Luigi have, and then also them together. So there is kind of a lot going on. This is a series sort of thing, is that they just got a lot of mechanics in here because you have different like permutations of it. You have Luigi by himself, Mario by himself, Mario and Luigi together. You got all these different things that you have to kind of figure out.
Yes. The battles, from what we have seen, do look pretty close to the approach in the previous games.
It does.
You've got the Bros moves, where they're both attacking together, and you've got to do sort of a rhythm-based button prompt.
Yes.
Just kind of the basics of the fighting, timed attacks, time
dodges.
dodges.
Yeah.
Every enemy's got kind of a different little pattern or tell that you've got to learn and figure out. I think that maybe falls under, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, this is the most fun part of this game.
Yeah.
Is like they're partnering up during battles to do like funny, cool moves with like cool animation and lots of personality. So yeah, please don't mess with that.
Yeah, maybe the one new thing, which is kind of a fresh take on the badges, are they're called battle plugs, and these are sort of these craftable buffs that are triggered when certain criteria happen in battle. So a couple examples that people have talked about are you could do more damage when you do an excellent attack, auto healing
That's nice.
when your health is low, getting a guaranteed critical hit against a certain type of enemy. I like the badges. I don't think there were any badges that had this. You can use them a certain number of times before you have to go into like a cooldown. Right. And it's based on like the number of turns. Yeah. So you can't just like constantly spam it. Right. Some of the previews did say like they found some pretty powerful combinations even in the early game.
It like made them pretty invincible, it seemed.
Yeah, like they were kind of indicating like this might be a little cheap.
Like a little OP.
So I think kind of the balancing of that as you go deeper into the game would be something to keep an eye on.
It's like when you finally got the those items for Peach in Mario RPG.
Oh yeah,
she just became like an Iron Maiden.
She was amazing, yeah.
And she like everybody would just be like boop, one damage, and she just kind of took the hits.
Right.
It was fun because it was like the end game, Yeah. But if they had this like very early in the game, like that wouldn't be very fun. Like you need a challenge, right? So yeah.
There's 2 of these battle plug slots early in the game. It sounds like you get more as you play. And you can also create different sorts of combos in battles depending on what battle plugs that you have attached. And we did see a screen that kind of had...
It looked like many.
It looked like there were a lot.
A lot,
so so that's cool. So hopefully a lot of opportunities to mix and match and kind of customize the battles you want to do.
I like that. I like the idea of customizing, based on your play style too.
Yeah.
That's a cool little feature.
We did see the stats screen, so it's tracking HP, BP, jump, hammer, defense, speed, and stash. Got to have stash.
Oh, the stash points. We need the stash.
They did introduce this thing that every 8 levels you choose a permanent upgrade.
Yeah.
Like you might get extra HP when you gain a level, or you'll increase your overall experience gain. So, and they were saying you have to permanently commit.
Yeah, you can't re-roll those points.
Right.
So you really do have to permanently commit.
Right. So that's good to have kind of another long-term goal every 8 levels. You're not getting those all that often.
Yeah.
We talked about this a bit last week. We already knew this, but the game was developed by Acquire, who's done Tenchu, Octopath Traveler. There's also a bunch of former Alpha Dream members who are making up that team. Not returning for this game is Yoko Shimomura, who's done a lot of the music for the series. It's going to be handled by Hideki Sakamoto, who has quite the diverse career. Including Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Yakuza, Castlevania, and Super Smash Bros.
Got the chops.
I've liked what I've heard so far of the music from this game. So
seems very fitting for the vibe of this game.
Yeah, I love me some Yoko Shimomura, but I wasn't feeling bad about what I've heard so far. So, indicates good.
Very cool.
Last thing that people should know, the game has leaked, and this happened extremely early.
Oh no!
So
Again?
there may be spoilers out there in the week to go before this thing comes out. So if you're hunting for information, proceed with caution.
Yes.
Yes.
No spoilers here, at least.
No, until our official spoiler cast.
We will be doing a spoiler cast on this game,
and
and then we will do an official spoiler episode, which will be very exciting.
Yes. So that's kind of everything of note that we saw pulled out from all the trailers that Nintendo's released, all the previews that they've done. Did not look at that leak stuff.
No. Never.
I wouldn't do that.
Pure.
I don't want to get spoiled.
Pure of heart.
No. So let's ask ourselves some big questions about this game. And I think just, before this game was announced, we were asking ourselves, is this series on the outs? Are they done with this?
Yeah, that was really interesting because that was one of the reasons why we were genuinely, we had kind of a genuine surprise moment during that direct.
Yeah.
Because just weeks ago, we had a fun discussion in our Paper Mario spoiler cast about Mario and Luigi games and where they kind of fit in. Because we kind of came into the year, starting from late last year and then into this year with an overwhelming amount of RPG-style Mario games. We had the remake of Super Mario RPG late last year, and then we also had the remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door this year. And so when this game was announced in that direct, we were like, what? We thought this was so dead. Who knew that it was going to come back with this brand new entry, with this new developer? So can this new direction of Mario and Luigi coexist, I guess, with Paper Mario?
That's the question.
That's the question.
Going forward.
Right.
Kind of as it did for all of those years while these two series were really active. I think it can. I think they just need to be very careful of moderating what's happening with these series because they were both headed in some
strange directions.
Less than optimal directions.
Right.
Where Paper Mario was getting super deep into gimmicks that people didn't seem to love and further away from, obviously, Thousand Year Door. So, you wonder, are they kind of just resetting things now by re-releasing that game?
Right.
And this game does seem to really introduce some fun new mechanics that don't feel like cheap gimmicks. They seem to be playing up the things that have worked for the series.
Right. They seem to be more deeper RPG aspects as well, which is what you kind of want out of this game. You want a deeper RPG experience versus the gimmicks. You want this idea of customizing your character in a way, or a deeper level up system. At least that's what I want.
Right.
So it's good to see that happening.
Yeah, so I think that's just a big caveat, but I do think that the two can coexist if they keep a good course of quality because as we've seen, one of the reasons the Switch has been so successful is just this overwhelming pace of first-party releases
Yes.
that seems it's one of these things that
phenomenal.
Nintendo has just like unlocked this ability.
Literally one a month
to release
for
games
8 years.
constantly.
Yeah,
And
amazing stuff.
When you're committed to doing that, like you need content, and if there's a way to kind of stagger these in between each other, it's like I don't know, you get a Paper Mario every 4 to 5 years, and in between that you get one of these, and
Yeah,
then
then
that's,
you have it.
that's
You
kind of
have
the
a
pattern.
cycle. Yeah.
It's not so close that people are getting burned out. Like if you had
Right.
alternating years, like it's like. That could be
a
perhaps,
little,
perhaps too much.
but like every 2 years, every 2-3 years.
We've seen
not
we've seen how much love there is for RPGs on the Switch. The Switch
Yes.
audience just loves RPGs,
Absolutely.
gobbles them up. So yeah, I'm feeling better about this than I did at a certain point, especially in the past when we were in it. It's like
when we were in the 3DS, the DS, 3DS era especially, like that really felt like just these games were a glut. And these should be AAA, special experiences.
Yeah.
But between these and the Paper Mario games, it just felt like they were just kind of dumping these out. At this
they'd lost their spark.
At this crazy pace, and doing so made it so that they lost their spark. One thing I would really like Nintendo to be careful of moving forward is try to keep these as distinctive as possible.
Yes.
Like they did some weird stuff where they had like a crossover with the Paper Mario stuff in the Mario,
I didn't like that.
Mario and Luigi series. I don't think they should do that. I see what they're trying to do, where it's like if you like this, you might like this, but there are already a lot of similarities in this game that you probably don't need to make them even more similar.
Yeah.
Like quite the opposite. I would love them to keep pushing them like in different directions. So we do have really two distinctive series and expectation of experiences when we play each. We know like, okay, in a Paper Mario game, this is what I'm coming for. This is like the core thing that makes these games special. And that is a different thing in the Mario and Luigi games. So I don't know what that is. That's for them to figure out and for them to present to us. But I really think that should be like a focus for them if these two are going to exist in this universe together.
Yes. Next question. Is Acquire the permanent new home for the series?
They certainly have the chops.
Is Acquire setting themselves up for a decade of working on Mario and Luigi games?
I mean, Octopath Travel is a pretty good game, so I hope that they have time to do other things too.
And they're bolstered by these
Alpha Dream,
previous Alpha Dream folks.
Kind of spin off a new team to just do these. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, again, certainly they have the chops and the experience to make a deep, rich RPG. So yeah, I think that's good. I do think it's better than shopping it around every time too,
Well, I mean, if I'm Nintendo, like I would like for that to be the case, but I kind of want to see what this game ends up being before I like fully commit to that.
Sign the 20-year contract.
Right, because maybe there is something that's lost in the transition, or like they just didn't really nail this or that, and we have a lot of options as Nintendo. You have a lot of people who would love to make a game for you, so. I think that would be a positive solution in their mind if it's like, yes, we have found the new home for this, like we feel very confident and comfortable, and it has this legacy of these older developers who are on it too.
Yeah.
But I'd want to see first.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're doing, but I also think that they are very much the type of company that's like, once we find a good fit, we're not like going to shop it around for no reason.
Yes.
Like if this game does well and all signs are pointing to it doing very well and being a very high quality game, like I don't see them like cutting ties with Acquire just for the sake of cutting ties and trying something different. They're not that type of company.
Next question. So Mario and Luigi previously had been only a handheld only series, and that had been one of the differentiators with Paper Mario.
True, yeah.
This is on consoles. This is on handhelds. They're different. Now everything is just on the Switch, which can do it all. Is there enough here for this game and now this series to really stand out as a quote console RPG?
Yeah, because before on a handheld, they really were able to make these kind of smaller-ish experiences, and that worked well for the series. But yeah, they have to like pull out more now that it's on a console.
And they, I mean, very practically, like, they cost more money now.
Oh, sure.
Like, you're paying a lot more money
absolutely.
for this game on the Switch than you did on the 3DS and before, and obviously it looks a lot better.
It does, yeah.
Got console quality graphics, but like.
But with the content,
are there going to be any lingering questions of like, why am I shelling out for this game that like I played on my Game Boy before?
Right. I do think that this idea of widening the worlds that they're doing right now through the exploration and through this island mechanic, like that makes it feel like this. It's not an open world, but it has a bigger world. That idea of it makes it feel a bit more akin to like a console game. So maybe they need to push the envelope that way to just make it feel like worth it. Because I do think that even though you were exploring like a kingdom or something in these Mario and Luigi games, it did feel like a very compact experience. You know, so. Yeah, let's see what happens.
We've seen Fire Emblem kind of make this jump where, at least in this, outside of Japan's obviously different. Outside of Japan, the game really got this audience on handhelds. It exploded on handhelds, and they very smoothly made the transition. Is now very popular on the Switch. And I think it's very clear that this game is not setting out to be Final Fantasy. It's not setting out to be metaphor. It has kind of its own approach and its own style that has a very big fan base, and I agree. I think they're making some smart tweaks to make the game feel bigger in scope. We still don't really know how long this game is, which is one of the other questions.
Yeah. Usually Mario and Luigi games are like 30-ish hours. I think.
They're not super long.
Yeah, I would be surprised though if they were like, "This is a 100-hour RPG."
Yeah, I
would be very shocked
if they went. Flipped it all the way that way.
Not that length has anything to do with whether or not a game feels next gen and made for consoles.
Right.
But I think there's certain elements you come to expect. You want a deeper experience. You want a more wide world to explore. You want deeper character development. You want better storylines. Like these things add up to it feeling like a console worthy game that you paid $60 for. So they kind of need to check every one of those boxes for you to kind of like make, at the end of playing this game, make like a decision. Okay, yes, this was a console experience for me.
I think it's going to be okay.
But yeah, I have a lot of confidence this is going to be fine.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. Is this the last original Switch game? Not a dual SKU, not a remaster.
Original.
We just had we're talking about that in the news. Xenoblade was just announced.
Yeah.
Is this the final original game that we get on the original Switch that is not dual SKU? So we think Metroid Prime 4 will be on both. Is this the last one?
Yeah, because then that just leaves us with probably like the first 3 months of next year for them to release.
Who knows?
They could release another original game early next year. It might be one of.
I think we get something else.
You think we get? I feel like
I think
there might be something, maybe like one or two more in.
Because look,
early January, February of next year.
Because the 3DS got, it got a fair number of games.
Late life.
Late life. There's still a huge audience that's not going to switch over right away to the next thing. So I think we'll get more.
You get a couple more.
It's going to slow down.
Yeah, you get a couple more, and then I think what will happen is like a couple years into the new hardware generation, those late life games will get like a deluxe version, and you'll have to buy it again.
And the cycle continues.
And then the cycle they're just going to keep taking your money. That's what it is.
What is your pre-launch hype meter for this game?
Oh, pretty high. I'm like
1 to 10.
I'm like an 8. 8.5.
Now, I'm here to call you out for this as a lie because you said that you would be glad to wait a little bit to play this game versus day one.
Well,
because you have bigger priorities, bigger fish to fry gaming-wise. Explain yourself.
As the good people are listening to this podcast, your girl is playing some Dragon Age Veilguard.
It's not out yet. What are you talking about?
Well, as they're listening
as if it's coming out.
Yeah, because it comes out on Thursday, which is Halloween. So
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be playing. I want to check out. I really am excited about that game.
Yeah.
And I want to at least check it out for like a little while before jumping into Brothership. Like my thinking is like you and I used to always do this. We would save like a really fun big game for over Thanksgiving break. Usually those were Assassin's Creed games, but unfortunately that game got delayed. So I was thinking maybe this game can be my Thanksgiving game because I'm going to be hunkered down at home. I could spend, $20 12 hours a day playing Mario and Luigi. That sounds fantastic. Eating a pumpkin pie, that sounds great.
Okay.
So I might do that. I'm very excited for it. And I'm excited that there is a prospect of a good Thanksgiving game this year, because I don't think we had one last year. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to like hunker down like for 1 week and just like dive into this game. But I am excited about Dragon Age, and that's another RPG. So I want to give it a little time. But I was saying to you, like, if Dragon Age fails to hook me, I'll just jump ship.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere between an 8 and a 9.
Yeah.
Again, like I was very loosely following the updates that they were putting with this game. But
it looks so good.
Like, especially the stuff of you like kind of exploring and finding these islands and adventuring on those islands, that really got that number higher.
Mm-hmm, totally.
So I think that even answers what the next question is, which is what's one thing you're excited for about this game and one thing you're worried about. Like, that's the thing that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Is just seeing what is the process of being on this ship, what can you see, even just like looking around with this spyglass and just like checking stuff out, maybe a nice vista. Maybe a beautiful vista.
The art, again, the art style is so
That's what I'm
beautiful.
saying.
You might be finding some beautiful vistas everywhere in that spyglass. Yeah, so I think we're both pretty hyped. Great game for getting into like the holidays where we have a little bit more time to play games. It's awesome. And exciting for it to be our spoiler cast game for December. So yeah, I think yes, we are hyped, obviously.
One thing you're worried about though.
One thing I'm worried about, I do worry a little bit about, the battle the mechanics of controlling Mario and Luigi and Luigi's logic and all that jazz. Like, I hope that they feel cohesive. I hope that they feel, like intuitive. I want that exploration and the overworld traversal as the two brothers to feel like really natural and really just like seamless.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. It's not a big worry. I'm sure once I touch the controller and get to do it myself, I'll figure it out. But I hope it's not too cumbersome.
I think as we were going through this, maybe the one thing that got me slightly worried was just that question about console-fying the series. Like, might they do something to bloat it that's like, you didn't need that, or this game's dragging on longer than it feels like it needs to.
100-hour RPG.
Right, so something like that.
Yeah. I hope there's not like a quest or something that's like real tedious, like some sort of like collect quest or like a escort quest that makes it feel very tedious.
Because we did see that at the end of Superstar Saga, where there were the end of that second
that boss fight, the boss gauntlet.
But like the last third of that game felt very uneven. But especially for this, I think the unnecessary bloat, because they're like
that could be like an RPG failing.
They're like, we're trying to prove a point here, but you didn't actually need it. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I'm worried about that too.
Yeah. We asked our Patreon subscribers that very same question. One thing you're excited for, one thing you are worried about. Let's see what people had to say. Internet Mike said, I'm really hoping we'll get to see the relationship and dynamic between Mario and Luigi play out. The part in Superstar Saga involving hypnosis, no spoilers, was so endearing to me, and I'd love to see more of that. As for concerns, I really hope it's not too hard and that any turn-based parts are fun and not too frustrating.
Yes. There's some frustration, definitely, in some of these games. Some cheapness with some of the bosses.
If I see Skeleton Donkey Kong asking me to line up some barrels...
You will rage.
Or there's some Queen's Blood type of thing.
You're going to rage.
You must do this to
or some
proceed
weird
in the game.
Puzzle that just has no obvious solution.
So mad.
You're gonna throw that switch right out the window.
You're going
to be mad. You're going to freak out.
Peter Chan says, while I'm excited to pick up and play Brothership, I'm concerned that we haven't seen the signature humor in the dialogue that was such a key part of the original series.
Bring him back.
While it might be too early to tell, without Alpha Dream and what Nintendo is focusing on with the Mario IP right now, the game is bound to feel different. Regardless, it will be interesting to see what changes the new developers make. I'm hoping the gameplay is solid and it's great in its own way.
Yeah.
Humor.
Humor is a big part of
We didn't really talk about humor up front.
Yeah.
And when Nintendo markets one of these games, that's often one of the things that we were told to emphasize. Emphasize the humor, the personality.
Yeah, but they haven't really done that in those trailers.
We have not seen that.
They've really been emphasizing like the overworld. They've really emphasized things like how cool Concordia is.
It's been a lot about Concordia.
Yeah, less about the dialogue.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of fun puns already that we've seen. Maybe that is a nod in the direction of hopefully good humor. I can't imagine
I can't see them taking the humor out, though.
They're not going to put it's not going to be serious.
No.
It's not going to be like, I mean, you see so many funny animations, too, where Luigi's like holding on to Mario, big anime tears coming. You know, there's a lot of that kind of humor, like visual humor. So I am hopeful that it's still there.
I do think it's interesting that that's not been mentioned or brought up
Yeah.
as much, but I'm not worried yet.
Good point, though.
About it. But yeah,
I hope they didn't blandify it too much in this day and age. It's hard to, be humorous without the fear of, offending somebody or cancel culture, like that kind of stuff. Like I do think that the localization team is probably working real hard to balance those things, which is tough in the year 2024. So,
Gartooth says, the part of Brothership I'm most interested in is being able to chart course to different islands to explore. My biggest worry is if the game repeats the mistakes of some past Mario and Luigi games like Dream Team, where there were too many tutorials and dialogue boxes that made the game really tedious. Also, I just need to know how long the game is so I can decide whether I even have time to play it soon. I cannot keep up with all these really long RPGs this year.
I feel you, Gartooth.
That is the true struggle.
I feel you in my very bones of the struggle of like, every RPG this year has been like, we played 2 that were like over 60 hours.
Back to back.
And that was
early in the year,
that was a wild one. Yeah.
So that is Mario and Luigi. We'll be back with an episode once the game is out, kind of checking in on our early thoughts, and then we will sock it away until our spoiler cast.
How exciting. What a fun time to have a game like this come out. I'm excited about it.
Time for the news. This is why we moved these podcasts to recording a day later.
Why?
This is exactly why. This is why. Now, this is something that would have driven me nuts if this had happened.
Yes. I love that we had a chance to record a video that we put out yesterday, and then we got this news today that we were able to add in. This is all just perfect.
Yes.
I love it.
Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition was announced at the all-important 7 a.m. Pacific timing.
Yes.
At Nintendo America.
Yes.
It is coming March 20th. All the tweet says, explore the mysterious planet Mira in this epic sci-fi JRPG, now with enhanced visuals and brand new story elements.
What are the brand new story elements? I need to know. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this.
This is great.
I'm so excited for this.
This is one of the longest and most wanted remakes that was still remaining. This is
my first
excellent game.
Xenoblade game ever was Xenoblade X on Wii U.
You didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right.
This is
that's interesting because
this is the first one I've beaten, at least.
You're
my first one beaten.
Self-proclaimed not the biggest sci-fi person.
This is why I kind of was not super in on the series before this. But I remember we did a Nintendo Minute video for this. We have a great.
This was where the Vista King was born.
This is where the Vista King was born.
Yes,
I need to. Well, I will put the thumbnail for that Nintendo Minute video here because it was a great thumbnail of us doing one of these.
Yeah,
it was really cute. But yes, I'm so excited. This is an instant rebuy replay for me. Someone already said this is now our spoiler cast game of April 2025.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
I'm down with that.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So now you will have the whole series to play on the Switch. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why this one took so long, but yeah, it's great to have it. What are some, again, it's very vague what they're actually doing with this.
Yeah.
What are some of the tweaks you would like to see?
I mean, I think this idea of new story sounds really good because the story is good in this game, but it can be. It did feel a little bare bones compared to
story elements.
Yeah, is it like new story quests?
Well, so there was some content in the original version in the West that was removed. And I wonder if maybe they're going to be restoring that. There was a lot of backlash.
That's true.
When that came out.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I wonder how they're going to be approaching that. That was one question I have.
Great.
I have another big request, which is please make the font bigger.
The font is so small.
I have eyesight.
You have quite good eyesight.
I don't wear glasses, and there were so many times that game was I can't read I cannot read what it says on the screen. And the size of my TV is not the issue. My eyeballs are fine. It's that text.
You just sit real close. You're like,
yeah.
Yeah, make the font bigger. I need that too.
Please.
Please. Yes, please. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
But yeah, other than that, like it sounds great. Enhanced visuals, sure, that's a standard. That's like a given, you know. But yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess remain now.
That's the January game, guys.
Oh God, we're not talking about. We are not talking about those. I don't want to talk about.
You brought it up though.
It's just a one-liner, and then we're moving on.
But you can
keep it pushing, sister.
NSO playtest is a disaster.
Yes, so last week we said we were going to do a separate video on the NSO playtest because at that point people had not had a chance to play the thing yet.
Yeah.
And we thought there would be like a whole other, wave of information, but there kind of wasn't.
No. Kind of fizzled out.
So we didn't do that.
It was kind of boring, honestly.
And also Nintendo's very aggressive of taking things down still. Our friend Wood at Beat 'em Ups and Nintendo Podcast, they did a whole episode where the whole premise was let's see if Nintendo takes us down.
And they did.
And they totally did.
They had to re-upload with
really
the visuals blurred,
really quickly. So they were very proactive in taking stuff down. So it's just it doesn't feel like it. We'll just talk about it here.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna have the visuals or talk about the specifics.
Right.
Because we don't want to get taken down.
No.
But I think we can just talk about the way that Nintendo approached this and give some thoughts on that. So just take everybody through the full cycle of this. This was pre-promoted a couple days in advance.
Yep.
Very vaguely, just said,
sign up.
Please participate. Here's when the signups are going to happen. Obviously, people minds went wild, imagination went wild.
Of course.
GameCube, game streaming, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
you name it. You name it. And people really locked in on what they wanted to see. And then there was the day where people could sign up. Oh, Miiverse, yes. The Miiverse is coming back. Miiverse is back.
Yeah. Folders and themes in Miiverse. We're testing that.
Looking for 10,000 people, 10,000 NSO subscribers to fill out the ranks of people they needed to do this.
Yep.
The space for that filled up in less than 1 minute.
Literally, it was less than 30 seconds.
Literally seconds.
You were awake at that moment
I think I did it right at 8 o'clock, or right at whatever the time was, and I was not part of it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous
and a lot of people
how
said
fast.
That. Yeah.
But the funny thing was Nintendo had this thing, a little disclaimer at the bottom that's the sign-ups would be open for 1 week.
Yeah, so it's did you think it would take a week to get 10,000 people to want to do this?
And did you think that when you pre-promoted it like this, that people weren't going to jump to all sorts of wild conclusions?
Right.
What a silly thing to do.
Yes. Then one of the stipulations of participating in this is do not leak information. Whether it is or is not an NDA, that can be debated, but there was a direct message please do not do this.
Yeah.
Of course, everything leaks and
literally immediately. And then people were streaming it immediately.
And obviously, the test was not Miiverse, the test was not GameCube. It was this completely other thing that nobody saw coming, which is probably what we all should have expected.
I expected that.
And they're right now, even still, they're actively taking down content from the test that are being posted by the participants.
Oh yeah.
So they're playing that game of whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole, yeah.
So regardless of the content of what the thing is, again, we're not in the play test, so we haven't I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff from it. I don't.
But I don't know what it is.
It's a little out there, so I don't feel like I have a great judge of what it is.
Exactly.
Is it cool? Is it not? I don't know.
Yeah.
But just the way they handle this, the way they approach this, is not well done.
No, it was terrible. It really was terrible. They should have been very upfront with what this was.
They should have just announced what the thing is.
Exactly. They should have just said what it is, and then if people wanted to participate, knowing what it is, they can participate. They can still do the sign-ups. They don't have to keep it up for a week, because I think people would have participated even if they knew what it was. But this just causes all sorts of spin and churn on the wild, rumors and speculation that Nintendo is working so hard to avoid. And then this whole thing about, people can't post stuff about it, can't talk about it. If you are committing to having 10,000 people do something, just get on board that things are going to go out from it.
Yeah, you just this is
you really can't.
This is them denying the way that people use the internet these days.
Exactly.
And thinking oh, we can change it, we can control it, we'll do it our way, and it'll be fine.
And
it
clearly
obviously
it's not
is
fine.
not. And then you've got the team of lawyers just endlessly taking things down.
Right.
Which just makes for a whole lot of busy work for everybody. It's just annoying versus like announce what the thing is, give some very like brief updates. So like, oh, the playtest is happening.
Just be transparent.
Just be a little bit transparent.
If you're gonna be
guess
like,
what? We all know. It's not a secret to anybody. We all know what this thing is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Let's not pretend like, what do you mean you know what's in the playtest?
Let's put our head in the sand and pretend like it's some mysterious
Who told you that? I need to
book.
knock on their door.
Now we gotta take them down.
I need to put a bag over his head. Jeez.
Emil?
No. It's a different kind of bag. It's a bag where you're going to whack somebody. Organize them. You're going to get organized.
Oh, no. The playtest is about to get organized.
Right,
oh, no. But yes, I think it was very stupidly handled. And like, one of those things was like, they should know better. Again, for like a company that cares so much about controlling stuff, about managing expectations, about, you know, this, that, and the other thing, they sure went out of their way to do the exact opposite and incite the exact opposite reactions from people. So that was way to go, guys.
I stand by what we said either last week or whenever, where it was, you know, I'm sure a lot of people gave them this feedback and gave them a lot of very clear guidance about how to do it.
Yeah, smells like Japan.
And the answer was, yeah, but still. And somebody insisted that it must be done this way, and I'm sure they're shocked that this happened. What do you mean?
Here comes the reports.
What?
Here come the reports.
It leaked? What? They posted it? And, you know, almost this exact same thing happened. Remember the Valve game that was being in a beta? And it was the same thing with like the please do not talk about it. Is that an NDA? Is it not? And people were just talking about it openly. I think they had a different attitude about it.
They did.
You know, but this is...
When you open something up, okay, on the internet to even one person or whatever, 10,000 people, I think people are going to talk about it. Whatever. It's very silly. It's very silly, but it is one of those things where it's absolutely Nintendo being Nintendo and just, yes, in complete shock that this is how people operate now.
I don't think we've ever talked about this. Do we? There was somebody who we used to work with who said, I just had a meeting with somebody from MCL who introduced themselves as the head of internet. That's
true, yes. I was like, we have a head of internet?
I have a few words to share with the head of internet.
Ironically, the head of internet is probably using a fax machine.
He's on a 28.8 modem.
It's not on, it's like,
Oh, man.
If you want to communicate with the head of internet, send him a fax.
That is ironic.
That is ironic.
We have a head of internet.
Great. Well, what's he doing?
I'm in charge of this thing that we completely do not understand or know how to use.
And in complete denial of. But great. Way to go, everyone.
Okay.
Way to go.
All right, good. Well, we got that out of our system.
Mm-hmm. Pocket Camp.
Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So this is some kind of a follow-up story on what's happening with this. So we all knew the current app service is ending.
Yes.
On November 28th.
Right.
And they said there will be kind of a, complete purchasable version of the app that you can get. So they've kind of detailed what that is. It's called Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. It's coming December 3rd. Until the end of January, it's going to be $10. After that, it's going to be $20. There are no discounts for current players.
Oh, no.
Pocket Camp also has kind of an ongoing subscription service.
Right.
If you had signed up for that, no discount.
Oh.
Thank you for your patronage. You can transfer over your progress.
Yeah.
So village, your village, your friendship levels, those will carry over. Leaf tickets, remember those?
Yes.
Those will not carry over. So
but the bathtub of
cash them in.
Leaf tickets.
Well, that will live in infamy. Cash them in while you can. Cash them in before 11/28 because they're going to go kaput.
Leaf tickets.
Yes. There are some online features that are not carrying over, like sharing GIFs.
Well, what's the point of that then?
I mean, that is kind of the whole point of like why they're doing this. Like they don't want to have to keep
the servers
maintaining
up.
This thing.
Yeah.
They are, although they are going to keep doing some updates they've committed through October 2025. After that, who knows?
Yeah. What is the current, active user rate of Pocket Camp these days? Do we know?
Well,
Has there been a number?
I haven't seen an update in a while. Okay. I mean, it's probably in this kind of no man's land in between, where it's like not a hit, but it's also not low enough to like just shut it down. And I think that would also look really bad for Animal Crossing game. to just pull the plug.
They shouldn't do that.
This is not Miitomo. This is not Dr. Mario.
This is like your
this is,
marquee
It's not
franchise.
Dragalia Lost, which like most people don't even know about. Like
this is
a major
Nintendo
top 5 Nintendo franchise. Like we need to be careful about this.
Yeah.
So this is the path that they've taken to kind of be done with this app. I don't know. I played this game for like a week or two, and I kind of decided like this isn't really what I want out of this.
Yeah, it had some good ideas. Like I did like some of the seasonal things that they did in this game, but yeah, it didn't have enough to grab me in a way where I was checking in every day and feeling like very connected to like my campsite and things like that. So I kind of fell off as well, even though I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. This quite didn't grab me. So,
I continue to really wonder like what is the strategy on mobile right now? Like people have talked about this financial thing that's coming up next week. Like if I was an investor, I'd ask about that, because that seems to be the one area of this audience expansion where it's not actually popping
like
off and hitting the goals and meeting the goals. Like,
and so what is the resource?
What are you actually doing with this? Like, are you pulling out? Are you just slowly pulling out of this altogether? Like, what I'd like to know.
Yeah, and also, like, if they are going to be transitioning to a new console generation, like, what resources are being taken away from that and being put on these mobile things that don't seem to be doing that well?
Because I still think there's cool things that Nintendo could do on mobile, but it just does not feel like a priority right now. So
it just hasn't really. None of these have been really a hit,
except for Fire Emblem.
That's
a bona fide hit.
Yeah, except for Fire Emblem. But it's so interesting to me that a lot of these really big Nintendo franchises that you could really feel like should be hits aren't. Like Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a hit?
Yeah.
Or even Animal Crossing and also Mario Run. Like, that was a different kind of gameplay. But, like, literally your biggest characters.
Mobile gaming is a very strange space.
It's a strange space.
It's a very strange
I don't think
space.
Nintendo...
Where a lot of things operate counterintuitively. And they knew that going in. Like, I was...
You could know it going in, but you might not know how to deal with it.
Exactly. But, I mean, at least they did know that. Like, I was working on mobile, like, right as they were starting it up with Miitomo, and it was like, like, this team has been given, like, carte blanche to think differently and do things differently because we know this is not console gaming.
Yeah.
So at least, like, they were not completely just in the wrong headspace going into it, but they just couldn't crack it.
It's so interesting. It's such an interesting, like, experience to see that happen with Nintendo.
Last story here is this very interesting ongoing story with Ubisoft where we that was kind of happening last week, and we kind of mentioned it when you were talking about the DLC for Prince of Persia Lost Crown.
Yeah.
And the news then was that a sequel, it is a report saying that a sequel had been rejected and the team had been disbanded. That was where we left off last week.
Right.
Then there was another report saying there was a rumor that they were working on a Rayman game.
Right.
And Ubisoft was very quick to comment on those rumors. I'll read the statement. We are pleased to confirm Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan have recently started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand. The project is still in its early stages, and we will share more details later. So it's basically like...
Controlled leaking?
Who knows when this is happening? Like, it's extremely early, but yeah, we are proud to confirm. Rayman, get ready.
I like Rayman.
And another part of that was noting that former members of the Prince of Persia Lost Crown team were involved
and moved over
this game
to this new project.
So we did. I put out a little like YouTube short.
Yes,
kind of
you did a kid on the green screen
talking about this because I had a hunch that this was kind of their way of getting out of a bad story, like trying to spin a bad story into a good one, of saying just like, oh well, they didn't disband the team. They just moved on to another project, and isn't it a cool project? It's Rayman. Yeah. Everybody loves Rayman.
Everybody loves Rayman. They should do a spoof of that.
No, they shouldn't.
They should be funny.
They really shouldn't. And normally that feels like a little bit conspiratorial in a way that like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like let's look more closely at this. But in this case, I think Ubisoft is so beaten down and has had such a string of bad news that I think
they just needed something.
I think they're desperate to get out of that slump.
It's probably terrible
Yeah.
to be in that slump. We felt it when you've been in a slump like that, where you're just every single piece of news that you get on your company is like bad or just disappointing things.
And I think if you're like, one of the higher ups at the company, there's also a lot of like crazy stuff happening around like you need to sell or you need to divest or you need to get out. So I think somebody could hit the panic button of like, what can we do to make this not be so bad, to throw water on this. So I do continue to think that's kind of what was going on here. And then they released this other kind of like thank you fans message from the producer from Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. And it does talk about, I'm looking for the line
The Lost
here.
Crown has shifted to other
projects that will benefit from their expertise. So again, it's not like they got shut down.
Most of the team
they just moved on.
Has shifted to other projects. Most, not all.
Right.
Most.
I think this is like an anniversary year for Prince of Persia. They do also have that Rogue. I think it's called the Rogue Prince of Persia by the Dead Cells team.
Right.
It's in like early access. I don't know exactly what's happening with that. I think it's doing early access stuff, I guess. But just a very strange sequence of events.
But I agree with you. I think it's really because they were tired of the bad news and they needed to have something positive. It's been like 6 months of really kind of
because
unfortunate news.
A new Rayman game is like a big deal. Like we will do a proper announcement and we'll try and surprise you.
Talking about marquee franchises, this is one of theirs.
Even though it's Ubisoft, so it'd probably leak anyway. But they would try to make a big deal versus like confirming it in an email statement.
Yeah. It is very much like we just need something. We're desperate. It smells desperate.
Did you keep playing that DLC?
I have been playing the DLC, but now I have been playing COD Blobs.
You have not been. Okay. Great transition. That's the news to the games we're playing.
COD
Blops 6. You've been blopping some CODs. We both have.
The blops are good. Let me tell you. 6 blops equals
Things are blopping off. So I think I talked about last week that I had not played a Call of Duty game in 10 years.
10 years.
And you decided that you had not played one since when?
Call of Duty 3.
What? Literally Call of Duty 3 or like fill in the blank 3?
Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Okay,
sorry.
Because there was a Call of Duty 3.
I know.
And that was like the third game versus like the 15th game.
Exactly.
And I don't know what number we're on now.
No. I do actually really like the Black Ops Call of Duty games.
Yes.
So I played 3.
Did you play the first 3 Black Ops?
I believe yes.
Really?
Yes, I think I played all 4.
Producer Stephanie is a fiend for Call of Duty. We know that about her.
Yes, but she's good.
She's actually
quite good at this game.
She's actually good.
Is she blopping? I'm seeing her
I think
tomorrow.
I'm sure she is, yes.
Yeah.
Please get the update from her.
I will get an update from her.
So, yeah, I mean, part of this has just been like our re-entry into this series and really getting a feel for what's changed, and I think a lot's changed.
Yeah.
But this is on Game Pass, so I think like we definitely fit right into the mold of people that Xbox and Microsoft are hoping to get back
in
on the series by having the game available on Game Pass. We have an Xbox, we have Game Pass, but have been like a little, like it's like, I would be interested in a Call of Duty if it was free or if it was part of a subscription service that I had.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad to check it out. And yeah, now they have this thing where, I don't know, I have no clue what year they did this, where it's like, you download basically the Call of Duty launcher on your Xbox.
There's a whole bunch of different things you could pick from.
Yeah, you open that up, that becomes your hub. Like if you have the other games, it's all populated there.
Right.
But it's also like broken out, like the 3 different modes of this game.
Right.
The campaign, zombies, multiplayer is all broken out there. I think we both...
They really want you to go to the shop desperately.
Buy stuff, yes.
They want you to buy stuff.
Give us the money. We've both only done so far the campaign.
Correct.
So we're maybe been zagging a little bit from where a lot of people just go straight to the multiplayer.
I cannot do the multiplayer. I'm so
You're not
scared.
even going to try it?
Maybe I'll try it a little bit.
I'm definitely going to try it.
I'm so scared. Those people look so good. I suck.
Well, they're definitely good, but
I'm gonna get worked.
That's how you get good.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
As I'm playing the... I don't know why people don't play the campaign first. It's good like learning.
Well, I think the campaigns are very have been hit or miss for this series over the years. Some of them
this
have been very...
This campaign is quite good.
This is a good one, and that's what a lot of the people who've played it have indicated. It's like, yeah, I've played all of these, and this is like a higher end campaign.
Yeah, but I really like it. Like I really like the time period. It's like set in the 90s.
Early 90s.
Which is like the era that we grew up in.
Gulf War I era.
Desert Storm.
There's one mission where you infiltrate a Bill Clinton rally.
Yes.
Which is actually a pretty good and memorable mission.
It's a pretty good mission.
Yeah.
You do go to, Iraq and things like that. You are in the desert. And
so what is Black Ops? Again, you talked about how you like Black Ops. What exactly does Black Ops means compared to some of the other
I do like the more
parts of Call of Duty
stealth part of it. Like that, I know you don't really like that, but I do like that type of game, which is why I like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. So I do like that aspect of it, and when I do these missions in the campaign, I am like really prioritizing the silent kills, like the sneaking around and sniping people off of roof. Like I really like that part of it.
Yeah,
because I'm very bad at first person shooters, and I'm terrible when it comes to like running and gunning. Like I'm terrible at that. So this is why I like the Black Ops.
Yeah, I mean, there's
more.
a lot. There's other Call of Duties where you're just like in a war, and it's like you're one of all these people, and you're.
I can't do that.
There's like a lot of stuff happening around you. This is like you're like in a smaller team. Like you have a very like specific operation.
Exactly.
Some of the missions do involve some stealth. So yeah, it does have a different. Like it's all very conspiratorial.
Exactly.
The vibe around it.
You have one of those boards with a string.
You totally have that.
Attach. That is, I love.
I'm sure you were excited by that.
I need to have that in the office.
You really
I don't know
like
why
that.
I don't have that in the office.
What are you solving with that?
Algorithm.
Good luck. Good luck. The algorithm is held together with string on a whiteboard.
I'm going to organize the algorithm.
One of the things I've been surprised about this campaign so far is just the variety of the missions has been really different. Mission to mission.
It's really good.
The first mission is just like a pretty straightforward tutorial. Like you're basically in the Gulf War. Like you're
like trying to
you're
get
on the ground and you're shooting stuff, and that feels like a pretty normal Call of Duty mission.
Right. It felt.
And then there's another one that's kind of more of like a chase mission where you're in this like French town and you're kind of after somebody. That one had kind of a different feel. Then there's the Bill Clinton.
That one was fun too because you're like in that clock tower and you shoot the guy on the yacht.
Yeah.
That was very.
That was cool.
That was very dramatic.
Yeah, it totally was. And then there's the Bill Clinton one, which has a heavy stealth element before becoming kind of a all-out shootout.
Yeah.
And then there was a mission where you're back in Iraq, and it's like
Humvee in the desert.
It's like a small-scale open world.
Yeah.
That I told you it felt very like Halo-esque.
It did.
Because it's like
you drive around in this vehicle.
You and your squad in a Jeep, and you're driving around, and you
taking down these towers.
You have objectives, but you can do it however you would like, in whatever order you'd like.
Lots of collectibles, and kind of like little side quests along the way as well.
And then this last mission that I've done,
you gave me a big warning on.
I have to warn you about this.
You
because
did.
I was not expecting this.
It sounds scary.
It's basically a survival horror level.
Oh no, what am I going to do?
So basically, you're tracking this like biological weapon, and you're like investigating it. You go into the facility, and you accidentally get exposed to it, and you start like hallucinating, and you're seeing things. And basically, what you're seeing are like zombies. You're getting like attacked by zombies.
Oh no!
And
is it like Resident Evil?
Well, there's that part. There's also an element of creepy mannequins, which you're not going to like.
I'm not going to like that.
It's very similar.
Do you feel capable as a person to defend yourself against the creepiness?
I mean, it is Call of Duty. You got a lot of guns. You got a lot of weapons. So
do you feel like Leon? Like okay, you have you're not
definitely
running out of bullets.
There's no shortage of guns in Call of Duty.
There's a lot of guns.
But there are creepy things that happen. Like
is there jump scares?
It's literally what happens in that Condemned game where like you turn around and you're getting chased by the mannequins, and you turn back around and like you're about to get like whacked by a mannequin. The mannequins are very creepy.
Oh no!
That level though has a real control feel to it, which I felt it immediately.
Government facility.
You're in this government facility. There's
it's like Russian too, isn't it?
But it looks like. It looks just like the Control
such a good game.
building too. So I was like, wow, this is a really interesting inspiration for them to take.
I like that. I don't like the mannequins, but I like the other
every one of these missions has been very different.
Yeah.
Which has been really interesting because I think everybody just associates Call of Duty. It's like, yeah, you're just
shoot
all
people,
out shooting people, like
whatever.
Very,
you do that.
Very linear, and there is a lot of that, but there's a lot of other stuff
that
I wasn't expecting.
Kind of like that. I mean, I'm going to be scared. I'll tell you how good.
You definitely will be
I'm playing
scared
that
by this.
tonight.
Yeah.
So I might freak out. Might have to watch 2 episodes of Gilmore Girls afterwards to recover.
Yeah.
I'll play it early in the evening so I have time to not have nightmares.
There you go.
But yes, I think I'm going to finish. I think that I read that the campaign is like 8-ish hours.
Those are always short, yeah.
So should be finished with plenty of time to start Dragon Age. But yeah, I guess maybe if I'm a little bit more confident towards the end of the campaign, I'll dip my toe into the multiplayer. But
I think you should at least try it.
I definitely have been getting used to it a little bit more and getting better. And I've found a few weapons that I like more than others. I'm like learning which ones I like to use, which is the good part of playing the campaign, because you do kind of learn those things that hopefully will help a little bit in the multiplayer.
I mean, there's a lot of other things that have been like pleasantly surprising for me. Like, I think we both commented on just like kind of the art direction of the game is really good,
really solid.
Like you're kind of like have a hub base that's like this mansion in Bulgaria, like overlooking this like really beautiful lake, and it's like wow, like the way that they've decorated this house is like
it's like really nice.
They had some like interior designer, like it's not like a burning oil rig or something. It's like no, this is actually like really nice.
There's like a lot of little details in it, and then like there's this thing that they do right when you start a new mission, where they like give you like a little story recap about why you're on the mission, and there's a way that they did that art direction where it looks like kind of old film reels and Polaroid pictures, and it just has like a very artistic quality to it. So they did pay attention to some of these things.
And then I really have to I keep mentioning that Bill Clinton level, like just the level of detail of like the feeling of going into like a big, like large scale event is something that's like really hard for games to do. And a lot of times like they'll fall flat. Like a lot of games have like the nightclub scene.
Or like the casino.
And like Starfield had that, and it was a huge bummer, like a huge failure. Yeah. The only other game that I think has done it to this degree is
Final Fantasy.
Cyberpunk.
Oh, Cyberpunk did a good one
The DLC of Cyberpunk had like a big social event that felt a lot like this, but like there's a lot of characters on screen. They're all doing different stuff. Like you can just feel like there are a lot of like, here's the bar, here's the dance floor, here's where they're giving a speech, here's where this auction's happening. There is so much happening in this compact space,
and it just feels real.
And it feels really real, like you're in it.
It does feel real.
So, and even just like the sound of like you walking through this space, there's ambient noise,
chatter when you walk by different people's conversations. There's music. There's like. Yeah, and that was a cool level because you basically are undercover journalist. You go undercover as a journalist. You have a spy camera.
Right.
I do like the spy camera. They should make a whole game with just the spy camera. Call of Duty spy camera.
Pokemon Snap meets Call of Duty. Here we go. Here we go.
That's a big idea. I like that. You can be a photojournalist during a war.
This will bring Bobby Kotick back. I've got a big idea.
No.
It's going to be huge.
I'm sure the capital G gamers are going to love that.
So, yeah, I mean, I've just been pleasantly surprised.
Yes, same.
Because, again, I think this series has gotten into this weird space where it's obviously massive, but I think a lot of people just ignore it and assume it's like, oh, yeah, this is
another Call of Duty.
This is just the big multiplayer thing. But, like, I was like, wow, like, there's a lot going for this. So props to them for...
Props.
I mean, again, I don't know what number game this is for Call of Duty.
They have not phoned it in on this one.
20-something? It's like, they're still going hard.
So
good for them.
They really did, like, make a huge effort, and you can see it. You can see
they're not phoning it in.
Yeah.
Next, something very different that I've been playing. You've been playing nothing else.
No, I've been cod blobbing
You have literally nothing else on your list.
No, I have nothing on my list.
Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord.
You had a lot of trouble with this title. You couldn't remember it.
I couldn't remember the second half.
You were trying to tell me about it, but I had no clue what you were talking about.
That's what it is.
Wizardry.
So Wizardry is one of the original computer role-playing games. I think it came out in the early 80s. And it was one of these games that was highly influential to a lot of the next generation of RPG developers, especially in Japan. Yeah. There are a lot of Japanese RPG developers. One, Mr. Yuji Horii, specifically.
Might have heard of him.
Who he has personally talked our ear off about how much he loves Wizardry.
He has definitely talked to us about Wizardry.
And how he took inspiration from that, and that game has slimes, and that gave him the idea to do a slime too.
Yeah, and there is slimes, and we saw the slimes.
There sure are slimes.
Yes.
So, Digital Eclipse, our good friends there, they have done kind of a modern reimagine. I don't know what to call this.
It's like not really a remake.
So their whole thing is like this is built on the original code of that game. So they've basically
the graphics have
they've made it
different.
they've made it look appealing to a modern player because previously it was like mostly text and some very like janky like computer graphics.
Well, because it
was the best they could do in 1982 or whatever.
80s, yeah.
The best they could do. So
running on an Apple computer.
But they're like, like we have not changed the guts of what this game is.
Right.
And what the game is like it's a pretty straightforward like Dungeons and Dragons-esque dungeon crawler where you recruit a party and they all have different classes and different abilities and then you go into this dungeon and from there it's first person, like you push forward, you take one step forward. So it's like bop, 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 kind of grid-based that way and you're exploring and it is like a big labyrinth where there's dead ends, you don't know where you're going. Like that's a whole big part of it is like keeping track of your sense of space. Like there's a spell you can cast to basically take the current map, but it does not automatically keep track as you're adding things to the map.
Right.
And then there's all these different levels of the map, and as you go further in, the enemies that you fight get harder and harder. But I was really like, I got addicted to it like really fast somehow. I was like, wow, this game like still super holds up.
They also show you like a little picture on the corner of the screen of the original game, which I think is brilliant.
They have an overlay of the original game running like a tiny postage stamp size in the corner.
That's a good idea though.
You can turn it off if you don't like that.
But you can see one-to-one.
You can see,
it running
this
like
is
the
exactly
original game.
what it would have been
But the
like.
graphics are updated, obviously.
The graphics look great. I'm playing this on the Switch, and I think it's on... I don't know, actually. I know it's on the PC. I think it's on...
Stop it.
It's definitely on the PC and the Switch. I know that much.
All right, there we go.
This game was in early access, but I think they did the proper release this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was just something really addictive about the loop. And I was telling you, I think it'd be a great airplane game because it's like, you get your party, you go down, you try and see how far you can get.
Go back up.
You need to leave to heal. Like you have very limited capabilities to heal while you're down there. You need to go back up, heal, go back in. Now I know the map a little better. See if I can get a little bit further. Maybe explore a little bit more. Come back. No, maybe now I'm going down another floor. It's gonna get harder.
Yeah.
And people say I haven't reached a point where this has happened. They say like the difficulty spikes get really severe.
I can see that. Yeah.
So there's a lot of reminders like you need to be very cautious. Do not just blow through this. You're gonna get messed up.
Yeah, you'll lose all your stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
And the combat does feel like very Dragon Quest. It's again that first person. Everybody takes a turn. You can do attacks. You can do magic. There's like this element of these two rows of people in your team.
That's very Heroes of Might and Magic.
The people in
two rows.
The people in the back cannot do a physical attack. They can only cast magic.
Magic.
And in Dungeons and Dragons style, you have a limited number of uses of your spells, so you can burn through those really fast. But yeah, like I was really into this.
Okay.
And I think you might like it too.
I kind of want to check it out.
So
it looks good.
This one's been a little bit under the radar, but I've seen them talking about it for the past couple months. Like, I gotta check that out.
Yes. I want to check it out.
I really liked it.
It looks cool.
Real quick, I have been playing the new Grapple Dog.
Oh, the Grapple Dog is back.
That new Grapple Dog. It's called Grapple Dog Cosmic Canines, the sequel to the hit Grapple Dog. With a great soundtrack, by the way. This one's also got a good soundtrack.
Grapple Dog has a good soundtrack.
Yes, it had that kind of like
Dreamcast 90s.
like late 90s soundtrack.
We were listening to a lot of Grapple Dog music for a long time.
It's legit good.
It's legit. It is legit.
So this is a 2D platformer where you're a dog with a grappling hook.
Of course.
In the sequel, they have introduced something new where there's a whole other dog. So there's two different dogs. And depending on what stage you're going into, it's like, you don't pick. It's like, this is a stage for this dog or this is one for that one. One dog is the original dog with the grappling hook. The other one is a dog with a grappling hook and a gun.
So they give the dog a gun?
The dog has a gun. The dogs have pretty different move sets in addition to the gun. I think the dog with the gun is like, it's a little bit complicated because there's a lot that dog can do. Like, it has like the Prince of Persia jump and dash.
Oh.
You're shooting. You also have the grappling hook.
Oh, that's a lot of things to juggle.
There's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
Honestly, so it definitely feels like those levels are like the more advanced.
I see.
Whereas the original dog
just has a grapple.
It's like, okay, I can keep track of everything this dog can do. No problem.
Okay.
But it feels really well done. it hasn't been that long since I played the original. Maybe the feel of the gameplay of this one feels a little bit better.
Polished?
A bit more polished.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I saw the developer of this game like being just very matter-of-fact about it. He was like, yeah, this game did not do well for me. Like, I think Grapple Dog probably did, and he made the sequel, and then he was like, yeah, this one just didn't find an audience, and it is what it is. And
moving on,
that's just kind of like the reality of indie game development right now. It's like it's really hard to get get anything to stand out, and even if you had something that was like a moderate hit before, it's no guarantee that if you do more, that people are going to want it. So
different time, different place.
But yeah, it's a cool game. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck. I think the original Grapple Dog also was on the Switch. I don't know if this new one is on the Switch yet, but
yeah. All right.
Lastly,
I was so excited about this, but I have not watched a single episode. Because I've been playing COD.
Let's talk about that.
COD Blops, though.
Like all day long, all day and all night?
Well, I've been busy.
This is 3 episodes. This is the Yakuza.
You watched all 3?
I did. This is the Yakuza TV show.
The one on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. There are 3 episodes out now.
Yes.
And I've got some very mixed feelings about it, actually.
Really?
I watched the first episode, and I reported back to you, and I said, I think this is okay.
Yes, and then...
But then I've watched the other 2, and it's kind of...
What about it that is giving you these mixed feelings? Don't spoil it for me.
Well, the casting is an issue. The Kiryu casting is a real issue.
Not buff enough?
Well, that's one thing, but he just does not...
It's not tough enough?
He does not exude the, like, larger-than-life, just... I am almost a god.
Yeah. Well, see, Kiryu, okay, this is the Kiryu personality that you need to have. He's like a very calm, stoic character. He's not the shadow of the rooftop kind of character, but his quiet confidence needs to be very front and center.
Right.
You do not feel that this is what this character is embodying.
So far this is...
Wasn't it an origin story?
That's just what I was about to say.
Oh, really?
Maybe you could just take over.
No, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, the first couple episodes so far have been the origin story. There's been a lot of like time skipping around. It's like, oh, now it's 1995, now it's 2005. Those are the 2 time periods.
Okay.
It kind of starts with like how Kiryu and his kind of adopted family from this orphanage kind of got in to the Yakuza.
Yes,
like
that's right.
They were trying to do a job and it went wrong, and they were actually robbing the Yakuza, and now they're in it.
Okay.
To save their lives, they have to join.
Yes, of course.
The Yakuza. But yeah, the Kiryu casting is tough. He's not buff enough, I'm sorry. And it is
what it is. I mean,
do it side by side. He ain't filling out that suit. He's wearing the exact same suit. But it's like when you put on Daddy's suit, you know?
No, they need to put that guy in the gym.
Get him the Temu bodysuit.
Oh,
it was cheap. Like the guy from TGS wearing the Robin Hood, the Robin Hood costume.
But he can just put the suit over and no one would be the wiser.
No, he really should. He really should do that.
Maybe he gets buff later.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Majima also. You're kind of getting a glimpse of his origin. There are some tonal things that like you can debate, like. So the game, the series is not attempting any of the humor stuff, really, or any of the zany off-the-wall stuff.
That's hard to do.
I think that would be super hard to do in a TV show.
You can run into a rando that's like in his underwear.
Diaper. Yeah, I don't think they should try that.
That's like covered in lube. You can't do that.
I think that's one of those things that like only a game is really equipped to do. So I think that's fine. But there's other smaller things like musical selections that they're doing. That's like this really doesn't fit.
Really?
What this is. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I came away from that first episode feeling okay about it, and then I watched the other 2. I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know how many episodes there are total. They're not super long. They're like 40 minutes a piece. I still think you should watch it. I'd like to get your...
I'm definitely going to
I'd like to get your take on it. I want to see where they go with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was not super getting the vibe. Okay. Initially, so like there is a series from Hong Kong movies that I was really into when I was living there called Young and Dangerous.
Oh, that's a great series. Which is
about the Hong Kong triad.
The triad, yeah.
Starring the only Ekin Chung.
Oh, yeah.
Who, which I really liked. And initially I was like, oh, I'm getting some vibes of this from it. But
then no.
It's just a little all over the place.
Yeah, okay. You haven't watched Tokyo Vice.
No, stop bugging me about that.
And I'm going to be definitely comparing this to Tokyo Vice, though, because that show was excellent.
Uh-huh.
And I want to know how they portray Yakuza in this show, because I mean that show reminded me very much of the video game. So I would like to see how they.
They got a guy in a diaper?
Yes.
Really? No. They got a guy in a Temu suit?
Yes.
Really?
No.
Oh. All right. So yeah, I don't. It's been about a week, and I'm assuming weekly they're going to release more, but I don't know. I just finished the first 3.
All right.
Okay, let's wrap this up with some questions from our Patreon subscribers. As always, we get them from our Patreon community. We're at patreon.com/KitandKrysta. Check us out. We got exclusive content, early access, a wonderful community that you can be a part of.
We played Mario Party in our latest meetup. It was great.
We did. We Koopathon/Koopathloned all night long.
We did. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. That was a perfect game for that meetup. So, yes.
First question is from Baby Chris. Hi guys, I just finished watching Masahiro Sakurai's last YouTube video and it made me wonder. He created this channel for the betterment of the video game industry and to contribute in some way. He talked in his video that he created books, spoke at conferences, and was a guest speaker at schools, but each had their flaws in terms of reach and engagement. When you think about the Kit and Krysta mission statement of encompassing your love of video games and sharing your own stories, how did you keep your motivation in the early days of content creation as Kit and Krysta? Also, would you ever consider doing a video on your day one setup to your current setup now in terms of video editing, equipment, and mindset?
Wow.
So what is our mission statement? What betterment are we bringing to society?
Oh, this is a big question.
What's your contribution to society, Krysta?
Nothing. I'm playing COD Blops.
I don't do anything.
I don't know. COD Blops. I do think that our general mission is, like, obviously when we started this at Nintendo, doing Nintendo Minute, it was really to share, like, real people's experience and love of video games. Like, we really tried to make that something, you know, that we exude through those videos when we were inside Nintendo, especially because Nintendo is so closed off to showing that. I think in our era now as independent creators, it definitely still is that we kind of want to represent like the normal video game lover and player. Like we are not like, you know, super savant players. Like we're probably consuming games in a normal way, like just like you guys. So that's kind of part of it. The other part is like really building that community too, of like a really positive, safe place that people can come and share those thoughts about something that they love. So yeah.
Our motto is "Don't get sued," but our mission statement is a little different. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think also like just kind of taking people behind the curtain of, you know, not just Nintendo, but the video game industry as a whole, because, you know, it is kind of a small, tight-knit thing and not a lot of people get to see it. And there are, you know, misconceptions that do get around there a lot. So like I think we feel good when we have, you know, something that we can speak on and give perspective, or, you know, some sort of an anecdote of like, you know, why is this thing happening, or what would lead a company to do something like that.
Yeah.
So like, you know, props to Sakurai for, you know, 600 grand in the hole to do it.
Oof, yeah.
You know, that's great, and that's a long-term legacy that he's leaving. And yeah, I mean, if we can, you know, have a positive impact, then that's as good as we can do.
Yeah, I'm always encouraged when people say, like, I was having a bad day and I watched something that, you know, you guys put out or listened to a podcast or something, and it made me feel better. Like that, even if like one person says that to us, like it goes a really long way to like really, you know, give us that like little boost of like, oh yeah, this is something that we want to do and we want to keep doing. You know?
Yeah, a lot of video game communities can trend negative, and I think we're fortunate that like our community is like really, really positive, and you know, I think we're also honest, which is, you know, not to be confused with being negative, of just like, you know, honestly looking at things, but having a positive mindset about them. That's important for us too.
Yeah, totally.
Riven is next. Here we go. A question about Mario and Luigi.
Oh.
The Mario and Luigi series is a long-running, well-loved series of turn-based RPGs, largely known for its sense of humor and general silliness. What do you think would be a good genre or pitch for a Wario and Waluigi series? Perhaps a series of spicy dating sims, pinball microgames.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Buddy comedy with Wario and Waluigi. Are Wario and Waluigi brothers?
Sure. I think so. in the question of like how could they keep this series fresh and how could they differentiate it, like I think this is potentially a solution. It's not just Mario and Luigi, like having a Wario and Waluigi game, or I think we've talked about previously a Peach and Daisy game.
Peach and Daisy
could be really
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like what
this idea of like a buddy pair up.
What other fun combos of characters where it's like there's a fun gameplay opportunity, there are some fun just, story conceits that you can bring up.
Right.
That could be a fun evolution of that series.
Totally. I think that, if they were to do that, it would be great to keep it in like a RPG style. I would like to see like deeper, storylines and character development for all of these characters in the Mushroom Kingdom, because we so rarely get to see that. Like Wario and Waluigi are, really silly characters that we don't know very well. Maybe we know Wario a little bit.
We know a lot about Wario.
Maybe a little bit more than.
Maybe we know too much.
Maybe we don't know enough.
I think we do.
We need more butts from Wario. But yeah, it would be fun to see them like get deeper into that, if they were to keep it in the RPG style.
Yeah. Cerulean Dragon is next. Pay-You-2, one of the big differences between Xbox controllers and their competitors is that Xbox has stuck to regular old batteries as their default source of power, while Switch and PS5 both use rechargeable batteries. Which do you tend to prefer? I thought about getting the rechargeable battery packs for Xbox to save money in the long run, but being able to just pop in a new set of batteries instead of being tethered to a wall as the controller charges mid-play session has been extremely nice. Before you give your answer, I will say, for Call of Duty, I have been using that 360 style.
Oh, yeah.
Hyperkin, I think it's called the Xenon.
You love it, though.
I love that controller.
Because that controller is so much better than the other.
It is a wired controller, though. You do have to play, the wire's very long, though, so that hasn't been an issue, but I was like, yes. For the lapsed Call of Duty player like myself, this is what I want.
My trigger on my Xbox controller is sticky. For some reason.
Ew!
I don't know why.
What happened?
I don't know.
It's gross.
I need to get a new controller,
It's nasty.
honestly.
Get this.
Sticky. I have gotten the rechargeable battery that basically like has a little stand for it. It's the
For what controller?
for my Xbox controller and my PS5 controller. It's all rechargeable.
Oh.
Like the battery is like not a real battery. It's like a little pack. But it just sits in my stand so that I can just charge it.
So when you're done,
night.
do you put the whole controller in the stand?
Yes.
It's like a cradle.
It's like a cradle. Yeah.
Okay.
Just charge it every night.
And that fits in just the normal battery space
Correct.
in the Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like a battery anymore. It has like a little a contact thing on the back.
And what kind of life do you get out of that?
I have never had a problem. Like, because I just charge it every night.
Oh, you charge it every night. Okay.
So it's
Who makes this? Oh, you said you had a Razer?
Razer, thank you.
Okay, I know you had a Razer one for PS5.
Yeah, it's a Razer one for both.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's something about using normal batteries that is like, I don't like it, but on the flip side, it does last a long time, so I don't feel like I'm constantly doing it.
Right.
I think when I had the Xbox, in the Xbox 360 generation, which also just used normal batteries, I got rechargeable batteries. And I was like, the life on these is not good. It's like, yeah, you don't have to buy them again and again, but I was charging them a lot. Yeah. So I think it's a trade-off that I think is okay. I mean, the PS5 is always going to be a tough problem.
That one is the one that you have to...
Because that controller is doing a lot.
Too much happening in that controller.
So I think even if you were using normal batteries, like you
would run out like in the one day.
You would be cranking through those things.
You can't do that with a PS5.
And that would get costly and annoying. So I don't know if there's a great solution for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Switch Pro controller is like the perfect in between, where it just lasts forever, and it basically has the same functionality. It actually has more functionality than the Xbox controller. I don't believe the Xbox controllers have any motion.
No, I don't think so.
Stuff in them at all.
I don't really like the Xbox controller.
The base one.
Yeah, it's not the best.
I've got a number of complaints that we've gone through it.
Okay.
The buttons are too clicky. The D-pad is just strange. You've got a gummy
I have a
trigger.
A sticky trigger.
People have said that
it feels cheap. It just feels cheap.
Elite controller is very nice, but that thing's also like over $100.
$300. It's not.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay.
It's a lot. So I'm not really in the market for that. I'll use my wired
your Hyperkin
fake 360 controller. Right. Spooky Pistachio asks, well, that's Spooky Pistachio. That's super. People have the Halloween names.
They do.
They have it. Yeah. Good for today. Hi, Kit and Krysta. During the live January 2017 Switch presentation, Suda51's English interpreter stumbled and couldn't keep up. Yikes. If I understood correctly from online gossip, he had gone off script, spoke really fast, and started referencing Japan-specific events. Was there any juicy internal discussion that came up from this part of the presentation?
Oh, man.
Yeah. I think we all just felt bad.
We felt really bad.
Really bad.
We really understand, like, working so long and just being in that, like, constant cycle of translation.
Yeah.
Like, truly, that was just a part of our lives that we've come to, like, rely on, but also it had a number of challenges that you had to just, like, deal with all the time. This idea of not being able to speak to, like, directly to each other and having to have this go-between. But you really understand, living in that environment, how hard it is to be a translator. Like, how much, like, mentally, how taxing it is mentally.
We've seen people have to, like, lie down after.
It's exhausting.
Because there's this other thing called simultaneous translation, where it's like, as the person is speaking,
you start translating.
You are translating, but you're also still listening
with the other ear.
And translating so that you can get it out. It's like, I don't know how. And
this is where we need AI.
We need a robot.
We need the Star Trek, what is it called?
Data?
No, we need that, where they, like, auto-translate for you.
Sure.
What is it? Whatever that thing's called. That's what we need. Through the usage of AI. This is, like, literally when we need AI.
I mean, so this is why, all the big Nintendo developers have dedicated people in the treehouse who do their translation.
Yeah.
Because you get to know somebody, you know the way that they speak, you have fewer of these issues where
you become like predictive.
Yeah, you really know what their tendencies are.
Yeah.
And there are people, I've heard this a lot, like there are people who are Japanese speakers who just have an unusual way of speaking. Koji Igarashi Iga from the Castlevania series, he was notorious. Everybody who translated for him was like, he's a really tough guy to translate for because the way he forms sentences is like not
normal.
It's not normal compared to
it's like Shakespearean
a lot
something.
of Japanese speakers, and I don't completely, since I don't speak Japanese, I don't completely understand what that means.
It's like the syntaxes are different, and like the
those people are just out there. So again,
different.
like they probably had something that they had rehearsed a million times, and that person felt prepared for that. And the thing happened, and he started. He was feeling the adrenaline. He's like, I'm gonna do it.
He's vibing.
I'm gonna vibe.
Cooking.
Watch me here. And that guy just
could not keep up.
Had a hard time keeping up, and I'm sure that was just like so like high pressure nerves moments.
Once you lose your track, it's hard to get that back. And we felt really bad, and then we obviously had like a debrief meeting afterwards, discussing the event as a whole and how things had gone, and this came up. And there was a lot of sympathy for this person from like the entire team.
That was really all it was.
Yeah, it was. No one was mad.
Yeah.
No one was like, what the heck happened. No one was finger pointing at this person. It was definitely more sympathy, and a lot of the translators had empathy for this person in this moment. And there's a lot of discussion that this was a pretty new translator as well.
Yes.
Like this person did not have the experience of some of the more seasoned translators, and that was maybe what part of the challenge was.
Yeah.
But no one was like, I can't believe this. No one like berated this person afterwards. No. Like very sympathetic to just how tough this job is.
Last question is from the Kagers. Hello to you both. Is Nintendo seething about Playtonic saying the ukulele remaster is coming to, quote, Nintendo in the tweet attached? Is the implication that it is coming to a potential Switch successor something Nintendo would care about, or now that they have announced the successor is at least coming, do they not care?
They care.
So we had a similar situation months ago.
Yeah.
When there was a game coming to Kickstarter, and I think they were even more blatant, saying,
They said the Switch successor, I believe.
Right. Yeah. They said the game's coming to that. Playtonic is a bigger company than that. They're more of a proper, Nintendo partner than that company that was doing Kickstarter.
The little eyeballs don't help the situation.
And ... Nintendo
with the eye
eyeballs.
emoji?
Yes.
Come on, Playtonic.
Right. So
Nintendo is none to please.
But I mean, we are in this weird place, though, where if you're working on a game that maybe is coming out for the end of next year, and you are announcing it, what do you say? I mean, you could just say Nintendo Switch and then update it later. But
update it later. I don't. Nintendo would not be happy with this, honestly. Like they don't want to draw any more attention to this. I mean, they know that the rumor mill obviously is just completely gone off the deep end at this point, and anything like this will set them into a new feeding frenzy, and they don't want that.
Right. And you can also read into this like, okay, well, I guess Playtonic has a dev kit, and they must be working on something. And you can extrapolate, well, when might they have started working, which means they got it then.
You can do all sorts of backwards engineering.
Of mental gymnastics to try and come up with a conclusion about the platform as a whole. And somebody also pointed out, I guess there was somebody at Nintendo UK who had replied to this with the eye emoji. And who now they've locked their account.
Deleted the account.
Deleted their account.
They've organized him.
And they've definitely gotten a stern talking to.
Yeah.
It's like do not acknowledge, do not say anything, keep your mouth shut. Do not make eye contact.
Any attention to this. Everybody pretend like it doesn't exist right now. That's what the line is though. Pretend like this does not exist.
Yeah.
We have to get through this holiday with Switch. Shut up. Shut up.
I can understand the plight of these developers who are like, we have a game that we're making that we need to announce, and this is the time that makes sense for us, and we don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure Nintendo...
They probably did go to Nintendo for guidance on what to say.
And they probably gave them bad advice.
And they were like, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't announce your game.
Don't
announce. That's what they literally told them. Don't announce your game. Don't say anything. Yeah. Pretend like you're not even doing anything.
Cancel the game. Actually, cancel the game.
Cancel the game, yeah.
Wow. Thanks to everybody who sent in a question. They're all great.
Excellent, as usual. All right, shall we shout out some wonderful Patreon community members?
Let's do it.
Starting with our final boss, Aaron Hash, next to the booth.
Spooky Aaron Hash.
Spooky Aaron Hash.
One day only.
Not a spooky
Halloween
boss,
only.
though.
No.
A great
boss.
Yes.
My favorite boss.
All right, here come the superstars. Ben Eichhorn.
Mara Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up, _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of Wins.
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Krashuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
AJ Kunles.
And 40 Gig.
Wow. And the One Up Club, Aaron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Astrodev.
Awesome 46.
Bad Moon Rising.
Bates.
Ben GB.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Bookham Dano.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Cavapil.
Brent Dennison.
Brovak Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Cameron.
Shadir.
Chelly Squirrel.
Crispy Saurus.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Christabel.
C. Roper 17.
Dallas E.
Dachshund.
Doinko.
Echo Ladair.
Elite Peach.
Espars 50.
Far Priest 69.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Garf the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
In Space Khalil.
Iris Marin.
Jay Rando.
Jack Hoving.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hemmerly.
George Ramirez.
Joshua Clements.
Oh, Jorge. Sorry. Juji Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
Kawa 2796.
Keith Kwan.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kibo.
Krista Roddy Kid.
Christopia Party with Me.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Lex.
Link 9898.
Lit.
Luigi 53.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pond.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
MSN Poke Gamer.
Mytran.
Nasir.
Niaf E.
Ninja 11.
Bangy.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Go Network.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Reaver.
Raintech.
Random bystander here.
Record Rumble.
Ryuji Utsuhu Oko.
Riot 1.
Rob.
Romsky 113.
Rox.
Ryanetta.
Saul Dominguez.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Schmiggles.
Slowbro.
Simon O.
Snazza.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Pseudo Priest.
Tales of Link.
Tay120N64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Keggers.
The Shark Among Men.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Timmy V.
Torcheeks.
Totally Joed.
Travis Torline.
Trick Jowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusk Hoop. Wow.
Tyler Geis.
Uncle Junko.
Video Game Stupid.
Vidge Mictor.
Vincent Van Butler.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
With WG Grizzy.
YU.
Wicked Davy.
Will Johnson.
Zelgrath.
Zapatty.
And Zbride. Sorry, Tuscoob.
We do have to follow up on the highly anticipated fantasy football matchup between you and I.
I won!
You dominated me. It's true. On the virtual fantasy gridiron, fairy tale football.
I can't believe it happened.
You did.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, that's how these things tend to go.
It's amazing. It
Way
was
to
an
go.
amazing feat by me.
I hope to meet you in the playoffs. That's all I can say.
Oh, is that what's happening next?
Eventually, there will be playoffs.
Everybody
Eventually, we'll pick a winner.
Everybody gets to go to the playoffs?
No, only the good teams.
Am I going to make it?
We'll see.
I hope I make it.
Wow.
What if you don't make it?
That would be bad. Maybe we can rig it.
Rig?
Yeah. We can have our own like scandal and our like the New England Patriots had Deflategate.
Oh, yeah, Deflategate. I remember that.
We can have
Even
something where I
that.
rig the fantasy football.
By how?
I'm not going to tell you.
Paying off the people that are in the league
I'm not going to tell
to
you.
not manage their team?
I'm not
You
gonna
could do it
tell
like that.
I'm not telling you anything.
Rigged. How fun. All right. Well, that was a good episode. How fun to dig into Mario and Luigi. I'm looking forward to playing this game.
1 week.
1 week.
1 week and a month after finishing Dragon Age.
Why is it like this?
1 week, 1 month are basically the same.
I need to understand Dragon Age if it's gonna draw me in.
Great.
You're not
I don't care.
not concerned. You're not
I don't
concerned.
care.
Okay. All right. Don't forget to join us on patreon.com/Kit and Krysta to keep all of this content going. Please.
If you are watching on video on YouTube, you can please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And if you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and leave a written review if you please.
And we're on the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky.
Yes, if you missed last week's episode, we're now on Blue Sky.
We are
Check
on
us
Blue
out.
Sky, the bluest of skies, and on Threads. Whatever.
Huh?
Threads. Throw away.
I post there. What do you mean?
Throw away.
I'm doing those posts. How dare you?
Time to go.
Bye.